So, Laura, I found your story very interesting. You had a supposed glitch in the Matrix that I wanted everybody else to know about because a lot of times we hear these stories, but we don't always have it straight from the person's mouth who experienced it. And a lot of times we think of these glitches in the Matrix as being things like coincidence or, just random, things that can't be explained. And we all brush them aside. But I wanted to have you on because your story was so fascinating. I wanted you to tell it to everybody else and really kind of let people know what a glitch in the matrix is. Essentially, a lot of people don't know. They think, "What is that?" But it's really something that happens that is just unexplainable, and so we call it that because it feels like it shouldn't be part of this reality.
This was in like late July. I want to say it was somewhere around like the 20th or so in 2021. I was working, I work for DoorDash. And I was just finishing up a delivery. I had a delivery at someone's house and I was leaving their neighborhood. So I was turning off of a residential street onto like a main street. It was like around like 8 p.m. So it was pretty, like it wasn't very busy. And so I go to turn right. I take a look at the left to see anyone coming. The only vehicles I see, they have their headlights on. They're a ways off, about a block away. They're at a stoplight, stopped. So, okay, I'm safe. I'm good to go. I go and, just out of habit, just turn to look again, check one more time. And all of a sudden, just a car, and I can still see it very clearly in my mind what it looked like, was just right there, just about to hit me. Like I was prepared to be hit. And I remember I just tried to accelerate, over into the left lane to avoid it,
Sure.
and looked back because it's like, oh, I wasn't hit, and there was just absolutely nothing there.
And so the car
And
completely just disappeared from that point. There
yeah,
was
it was just completely gone. Like I didn't hear any brakes, anything like that. I didn't see it turning anywhere. It was just totally gone right after that.
Now
And
you've been doing DoorDash for how long?
let's say coming up on like 4 years.
Oh, so see, you when you're driving, you know exactly what you need to do when you're coming out of a suburban area, you're getting onto a main street. You know to look for the cars that are coming, inbound traffic. You know where you're turning. And 8 p.m., I wouldn't say, was that pretty dark at that time? Because it's July. It would have been.
It was pretty dark. Like there was some like lightness in the sky. Like it was still kind of dusky because it was summer, but like it was pretty dark.
Mm-hmm. So the lights were on. That car wasn't there at first, and then all of a sudden, as soon as you went to go take a second look, you saw it there,
Yes.
and you just knew that was it. It was going to be the impact. That was going to. It was you were going to have an accident. That was it. It was over, right?
Right. Like
And I
all my maneuvers were just like, okay, make this impact
yes, yeah, yeah.
as
I
as
think
bad as I possibly can.
yeah, and I think we've all had that feeling. We've all, as experienced drivers, we have every single time we have taken maybe a turn without looking or ran a stop sign or something like that. Things happen in our mind to where we're so used to and comfortable with certain navigation and vehicles that when you're doing something so exactly by the book, you're stopping, you're looking, you're checking for traffic. We all know this experience. I think a lot of people, understand where you're coming from on that, but when the car is just right there and then nobody's there, I think that's the big question. So what happened to the car?
Right.
And from what you know, it's just gone. There was no car that passed you. I mean, because you kind of accelerated up, but no car passed you, no car hit you. Thank goodness. So then, what from that point on? What did you think had happened? Did you feel anything different? Did you think that something maybe kind of glitched out for you?
It definitely felt very, very strange. Like I stopped my dash immediately after that. Like I was very, very shaken because it was, and I just kept looking around like, okay, like the next cars I saw were the same ones that were back at the light. They eventually caught up to me, probably because I was probably going a little slower because I'm like all freaked out. And yeah, I just kept having this feeling like, okay, did it actually hit me? And I'm like dead right now. What's going on?
Oh, that's
Because it just
interesting.
made absolutely no sense.
Right, right. That is interesting because we've actually done some near death experiences before. And when we talk to people, they don't even know that they die. And so a lot of times, I guess when you die, um, you just don't, you're not aware of it. So it's interesting that you thought that right away, that you thought, whoa, am I dead? You know, because that's one of the things I would think of. So how has this
Yeah.
changed your like view on things? And did you believe in something before this and kind of have question, the whole glitch in the matrix type thing, or is this something that kind of changed your mind on that?
Something that has interested me and I do believe in before, like I do believe in like reincarnation and stuff. So it was like, all right, well, that's not too far of a leap from like I don't know, like there's different versions of the world, I suppose.
Sure.
And I actually, the group that you found that in, I joined it after I had a different glitch experience that actually was a repeat experience that
Oh,
was
really?
very strange. When I joined that group, it was to get people's sort of ideas on something that happened. So in 2012, the house I was living in burned down, and we went in after it was all like made safe or whatever to salvage anything we can.
Hmm.
And, so I got to see sort of the aftermath. Fast forward almost 2 years, I would want to say, later, and there's a new house on the property, same spot, but new house, and I'm living there. I keep going, like, I'm going into the kitchen, and I want to say it's right in the same spot where it would have been. There was like in our old house, there was a water cooler, like, ones will dispense water out for you. And so from our old house, I remembered seeing that when we went in through there with like all the soot all over it. It was all messed up from the fire. And like it happened like 4 or 5 times. I would walk like I'm going to my kitchen, and then out of the corner of my eye, I would see the water cooler all messed up with the soot, and I would even smell like the smell of the smoky from the burnt up house when I saw it, and then
Really?
I'd look and it would be gone.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So that already previously happened to you then, before the other glitch, right? Yeah. So for you, you've already kind of experienced a few things to kind of make you question what this reality really is for all of us. And I know that we're all trying to figure that out ourselves. We're trying to understand, is this something that is a true reality, or is it something that's not a true reality? And I think that a lot of times people, especially ones who are listening or watching right now, they might question, well, science has never proven that. And it's actually false, because science and physicists actually believe that we're in some type of simulation only because the math is proving it right now. And what's so interesting is that even Elon Musk made this statement back in 2016 that the chance of us being in the true reality, which he calls the base reality, the chances of that are 1 in billions. So the overall odds, I mean, it's more so that you're going to win the lottery than actually be in your true reality, which kind of states that we live in something simulated, or something that's just not the real truth. So a lot of times I think we question that, especially when things like what you had just came up, and we start to think maybe we're living in something that, I don't know, it's just all I can say is that it's completely bizarre. Whatever we live in, we have these moments where things happen and we just can't explain them. And then the fact that you had
Yes.
that vehicle kind of pop out of nowhere makes me also think sometimes, and I'll just kind of say this just for the audience to kind of understand. There's a thing called the Mandela effect right now that's happening. It's actually been happening since 2009, and a lot of times people are remembering things from different dimensions. And that's the whole kind of premise behind the Mandela effect, is that this dimension that you live in, things are a certain way, but in another dimension, they're opposite or they're different. And a lot of times people think that right now these dimensions are converging on each other, and that we're kind of coming to this bottleneck of dimensions based on just based on a lot of people's testimony, and then a lot of computer mathematics that have been kind of put into play. So that's for another another video, but I want to bring it up because that vehicle, you could have easily slipped into like a almost like a parallel dimension, I want to say, or something that where you momentarily saw that vehicle right there and then slipped back into your dimension. I don't know. And that could be part of the glitch itself, or it could be just something that that vehicle was rendered right there for you. I'm not sure.
I'm kind of torn between both of the things you just described, where it's like, okay, either like the car came out of somewhere and then disappeared back, or I went to a different dimension and then popped back.
Right.
Like, I'm not sure which of those sounds better to me, but it would definitely
Hey,
it feels like something wasn't usual.
yeah,
For sure.
exactly. And I don't think either one that you choose, a lot of people are just going to be like, wow, that's a lot to swallow for either one. But it is something that I want everybody to know is that it happened to you. You know, it is your story and your feeling to that, and nobody else can, you know, take that from you. I think that a lot of people need to understand this is happening to so many people, and it's happening exponentially. Like it's on the rise, so it's happening very quickly and to a lot of people. So more and more we're hearing about these glitches, we're hearing about these things that are happening, and who knows why that is. But I do appreciate you coming on and sharing your stories with us. I found them very interesting, and I'm sure our audience is going to find it interesting as well too. So I really do thank you and appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Laura.